Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at a Kuva Zarr, in my opinion, the best weapon in the game right now. It's one of the most used weapons in the game. I'm going to show you what kind of build you want to use when you first get it, if you don't have every mod in the game, and then what kind of build you want to be using once you do have every mod in the game. End game to beginner. So the first build. This build is going to be a beginner's build. Just to put it simply, the first thing you want is damage and multi-shot. After that, you want crit chance and crit damage. Next, you want hunter munitions for the insane amount of slash procs you're going to be getting with the high crit chance. Slash procs are extremely valuable because they ignore armor and shield, and every enemy has HP and it just directly cuts from the HP. Ignoring the armor and the shield is very, very useful. You want to have cold because you want to get a toxic Kuva Zarr. You could get other Kuva Zarrs, but if you don't get a toxic one, then you can't get viral this easily. So having a toxic one is very important because then you can get viral with just adding one mod, which is cold. That's 100% what you want to be doing so that you can get the viral. When viral procs happen, you're going to be doing twice as much damage to that enemy afterwards with all forms of damage, including the slash procs that you already applied. If you apply viral afterwards, those slash procs will do more damage. Bladed rounds is also very useful for the extra crit damage. More crit damage is almost never bad. The way that crit damage scales is kind of crazy. Having extra crit damage is really good. Fast hands is more of just convenience to reloads faster, because if you don't have any reload speed whatsoever, it's going to be 4.8 and it's just too slow for me. I would highly recommend using reload speed. You don't have to. Now let's say that you're gonna upgrade this build now a little bit, right? So you could put heavy caliber for less accuracy, which is gonna just increase the explosive radius a little bit for you. You could use primed cryo rounds for extra viral damage and extra viral procs. You're gonna get more viral procs this way, which is actually a good thing because the slash procs that you're getting aren't coming from slash damage, they're coming from hunter munitions. So having prime cryo rounds is actually a really solid idea for this. Fast hands can also be swapped out if you want to use primed firestorm or just regular firestorm. You can also increase the blast radius. You could also swap bladed rounds there if you're doing enough damage that you don't feel like you need it. And obviously if you get prime bane of Grenier, you'd want to swap that out and you'd want to go to something more like this if you get primary merciless, the arcane. So if you don't have prime sure-footed, you want to be using cautious shots so that you don't get knocked over constantly. When you do get knocked over, it's not gonna knock you down for as long. So yeah, once you upgrade, you're gonna want to get the primary merciless, which gives you extra damage per kill, and then you don't need serration or heavy caliber. It's better to just get other things like prime bane of Grenier because of how prime bane of Grenier actually works. So this 55% damage isn't actually just 55% damage, it's damage to Grenier, which is special. The way that slash procs work is that whenever they do the calculation for damage, for the damage over time, which is going to be like 6 ticks of damage, the 55% is actually, it's multiplied twice for some reason. So it takes the damage and then it times it by 1.55 and then it times it again by 1.55 whenever you're against Grenier. You can swap this for other factions if you're going against other factions, but yeah, this is super strong. The galvanized chamber is going to give you more multi-shot than split chamber. Prime fast hands, more reload speed. Critical delay is going to give you more crit chance and less fire rate, which is okay. You know, having that extra crit chance is kind of useful. Another option that you could go with is hammer shot instead of bladed rounds if you hate zooming in, but I wouldn't do that. Bladed rounds is too much extra damage, and zooming in with this weapon is kind of easy, so I don't see why you wouldn't. Yeah, you could use prime firestorm instead though if you're doing lower level stuff, like I'm talking like level 0 to 100 pretty much. I would use firestorm just to make the radius bigger. And if you have prime sure-footed, then you want to use vigilante supplies. Now if you can get a riven that has cold damage, you can replace your cold damage mod. If you get a riven that has literally anything else, for example multi-shot crit damage to Grenier, reload speed, whatever you get, you could replace bladed rounds, you could replace the cold mod. If you get cold on your riven, you could replace prime fast hands. If you have primary merciless, even though it's good, it's not like completely needed. It's really up to you. There's a lot of different things that you could replace, but the main things that you can't replace, right, that's going to be like chamber, right? So multi-shot, split chamber, galvanized chamber, hunter munitions. This is going to be giving you all your slash proc damage, which is pretty much all your damage. The thing is that low level you're going to be killing everything without the slash procs even ticking for damage, but once you go higher level, it's going to be a little bit different. Another thing that you can do to increase fire rate is use arcane acceleration. On crit it gives you 30% chance to have 90% more fire rate to primary weapons. Super useful. If you're using prime sure-footed, which I just got a few days ago, then you can use vigilance supplies for that extra crit chance, enhancement chance, as well as the extra ammo. One last thing that I need to mention also, very unique mod right here, Amalgam Furax body count gives you 20% more blast radius, and it affects it. Let's just go and show really quickly how this build would work. And we will be going on Steel Path, do a survival solo. One quick thing I want to say, keep in mind, my Kuva Zarr is 60% toxic. If your Kuva Zarr is like 25% heat or something, if it's not 60 toxic, then if you're not going to be doing the same amount of damage, you're not going to be doing as much damage. Your elements might be different if you're not using toxic, so I highly recommend that you use toxic. I'm not gonna lie, I'm used to having to shoot the ground in a way that like takes into account the blast, the knockback, and everything. I'm not used to having prime sure-footed. I literally just got it. Shooting directly at my feet like this, and not being knocked over whatsoever, I'm not used to it. But yeah, look at that fire rate. Isn't that crazy? That's acceleration. No issue for these enemies. Also, I have Prime Bane of Grenier, guys. If I had Prime Bane of Corpus, then I'd be getting that 1.5x twice. But I don't, because I forgot to check what faction it was and I left it on Grenier. Even with a mod completely missing, I'm still just... this is no problem for me at all. What the dog? You see why I like reload speed, arcane acceleration. I haven't done a survival in forever. Not really making an excuse, but yeah, like the acolyte was no problem. You know, look at all these enemies just exploding. You know, yeah, I'm just gonna grab these because if you just see that little 40 that popped up, you actually get a little bit of XP from activating the thing. It's not a lot, but it is something. It's not even as much as killing me down. So just a random tip for newbies. If you're super new to the game and you're in a survival and you activate those things before extracting, as long as your teammates don't get pissed off at you for doing it, it's just free X. You don't even have to kill an enemy for it. This is the Steel Path run with the build that had a ribbon, but also you gotta remember, you'd actually be doing more damage. I was using Prime Bane of Grenier, right? So check this out, right? This mod wasn't doing anything, and this mod was only giving me 68 cold and 93 crit. If instead of this thing, you have this thing giving you 165 cold, and instead of that 93 crit, you have Prime Bane of Corpus, right? Then you would be doing more damage against those enemies that I just went against. But it doesn't matter. That's how good this weapon is. You can literally have one mod slot that's doing nothing in 66% of the missions, or 75% of the missions, and only useful against Grenier, but yet you can still go and do Steel Path Corpus and Steel Path Infested, and just do, look, you could do Void Cascade when it's Corpus and use this and still have like pretty much no problem. This is the best weapon in the game in my opinion, and hopefully they don't nerf it too hard. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to follow me on Twitch, I might be streaming in the near future. The link is in the description. Also, the Discord link is also in the description. Hopefully this is useful to you, and have a great, wonderful day. Peace.